Hey traders, Mike Katz here with 7 Points Capital. Good to be back on the desk today. Being out for a few days, good action. Let's look at the SPYs. We have slightly sideways, last few days, last couple of days, small bars kind of getting close to 280 and not really getting a whole lot of power, but it's okay. We've been up for, and this could be resting for a while. I think if it can, stay above 275 between 275 and 280, that would still be considered healthy. And we'll see which way we go. But so far, the market has been strong. A little bit of an anomaly yesterday. Couldn't really pull back today. The banks were weak today, while tech was strong. So looks like sector rotation. It'll be interesting to see how the overall market holds up. 275 is important, 274 where we broke out of. But there was lots in play today. Let's start real quick with GLMD. So this one was a monster, really nice. What was going on here? In GLMD, basically, they had good results in phase 2. They think they should get fast track to FDA approval. The stock gaps up. But, a big but. Why was it selling off all day? Well, it had a big move pre-market, and when it went up pre-market, pulled back and kind of flagged, and then right before the open, it took off. Took off, went all the way up to 2750-ish, and then at that point, I'm thinking I want to be buying a dip to 23. All right, 23, 22, and I would think that that could be a good support off of pre-market highs. This thing could get to 30, could get to, well, who knows what it could get to, right? So that was the plan. But when it got down here, I kind of had second thoughts because since the open, all that was going on was just selling on the tape. Lots of red. And then when we got down to 23, instead of bouncing very quickly, we started hugging it. And there was, for most of the morning, Thinkorswim was having issues. I used that for charts. So it threw me off the game a little bit, but basically when it came down here, it couldn't really bounce very quickly. And when it went back up, I tried to short 25, near 25, and missed me by I think a nickel or a dime. I didn't get my fill, but that was just information that the backside could be in. And then once we started topping out, I started in with my starter. I added more when it was working. I added more here actually, and then more here. And I covered a third, put it back out. At this point, I'm trading versus 23 versus this pivot. And when it couldn't stay below this base here, it was a little concerning. When we got back above, came back, I thought maybe, here, let's look at it this way. Maybe this thing can bounce off of 20, at which point I don't want to be short anymore, right? So get good pullback from 21 and change to 20. If that bounces, then I'm not happy anymore about my short. But instead of bouncing, all it does was just start to hug it. Start to hug it, retest 20 again, retest 20 again. And I thought, you know what, this could potentially break down. Eventually it does break down. Bam, right there. But it couldn't stay below 20. Spikes up, some buying comes in. Volume profile was around 20, so I thought, you know what, this could go up. So I kind of locked in my gains here. I took everything off. It was kind of an impulsive takeoff, but I knew that if it gets below 20 again, I want to get back in because the overriding theme was that there was a million shares that was sold through an offering at $6, and there was $15 warrants out there, and they're in the money. And if they start selling, then this thing could really unwind. And that's what was in the back of my head the whole time. So if it was going to get back below 20, I wanted to make sure I was in. And at that point, I could trade versus 21. When it gets below 20 here, right there, I saw the 20 bid starting to go, so I hit it. And I was able to get bigger here because now I could trade versus 21 and a lot closer than before. So that was a really nice re-entry, good unwind into the close, and kind of tried to let it work, and I covered a quarter of the position right before the bell. And that's it. So if we get rid of this, that wick, you can see, so basically short, 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 cover a third, re-shorted on the retest of 20, covered everything here. At this point I'm up nice, but if it wants to get back below 20, I'll get back in. Got more size here and let it work. So I'm swinging this one overnight. What else? We had a few nice trades yesterday in AMD. The thinking in AMD was we have boom boom AMD on 16 topped out. All right, let's look at AMD. We can see 16 topped out pretty hard, pulls back really hard, about 10% pullback, and then comes back for a retest, right? So yesterday I was trading this, and yesterday I was looking at it thinking right here. So when I saw this here, I actually tried to short a tiny bit here yesterday, 1540-ish right here, thinking this is lower low, lower high, maybe it does one of these. But when I shorted a tiny bit, and it started going up, I said, this is not going down, and 1550 looked like an ascending triangle. So I covered and quickly got long a bunch at 1550 and sold into the push, and I missed out on the second half of the move, but I definitely had 1550 in mind today because of yesterday's action. So today when we dipped in the morning, I bought the wash into 1550-ish and scaled out on the move up. Let's see if we can see that here. Yep, bought the wash into 1550 on the open and scaled out. And then later on, it started looking like potential head and shoulders. I think this is going to be pretty evident here, right there. So I started a feeler versus high of day, and then when it started curling down, confirming and supporting the head and shoulders, I got in, added some more. The measured move from here to here said 1565 was the target, and then I was doing something else. I look away and this thing is at 1560, so I just covered everything. I think I got 61, 62, 61, somewhere around there. Everything, I took it off one shot. I met the target and I was done with that. And then I was pretty good grind back. This will be on my radar. As long as it's trading near 16 bucks, I think that could be a good spot to monitor. What else? We spoke about GLMD. NTNX was a trade I botched pretty good. I know exactly what I did wrong. Ended up being my biggest loser on the day. Let's see if I could explain what was going on. TNX. Yeah, so on the daily we could see there was, let's just do it on here. On the daily there was a big level at 60, and then when we were ramping up pretty strong into 60, I thought I could take a stab at it on the short side, maybe a 60 reject, and right there, right below 60, I took a shot, and my mistake was not stopping out when it cleared 60. I made a big mistake of not only giving it more space, but getting bigger at 61, and then stopping out top tick. And then, that's when I know that I'm not trading well. So I look at my executions, short 60, add more near 61, stop out top tick, and then comes back down. I'm like, oh no, FOMO, shorted again, and covered some here, but basically was able to kind of salvage by holding some, covering down here on the retest of 60, and then when it didn't want to break 60, covered the rest. Made some back, was able to salvage a little bit, but still was a pretty nasty loss, and it was all because I was just not willing to stop out above 60, And not only did I not do that, I got bigger at near 61. And when I do that, I'm obviously going to exit emotionally, and I got top tick pretty nasty. So that wasn't fun. But a few other ones were good. Snap. Let's see. Snap was another Head and Shoulders. Not really Head and Shoulders, just it was getting tired. Um, on the daily, let's look at Snap. Right there, we're coming into the gap fill at 14 bucks. And that's where we were around here when I kind of started in. And just not having thinkorswim charts, I got to tell you, definitely threw me off. You guys could see the gap between around 9:30 and 12:30 for like 3 hours. I had to trade off of the sterling charts. I managed, but I didn't feel comfortable. But basically here, looking at this, it looked like a double top near that 14 gap fill level. And then around this time, Twitter, which was a stronger one, kept on being strong. Facebook was the strongest social media stock. You guys could see that. But Snap was not as strong. So when I saw Twitter topping out and the level held, I kind of started in, and when it started working, it got bigger, and then covered half on this double bottom, and then the rest down here. I was thinking of potentially swinging this on the short side, but I ended up passing on it. I think I could definitely revisit it. This topping tail on volume is an anomaly, as much volume or a little bit more than this big green bar. So this is going to be on my radar. $14 risk. Maybe tomorrow if we get a pop and a jam with a lower high here, somewhere around here, then I'll try to get back in. But that was a good one. And then what else? SQ. SQ. Let's see, SQ was a nice one. On here we could just see the strong daily, and then over here we could see just a strong move up, pulls back, gets back above 62, and let's see right there. So I'll do some buy right here on the pullback, and then scaled out some here, and the rest up here. The highest I made it was 63.50s. So this was a really nice trade as well. Just one and done. I didn't get back in. I was thinking maybe shorting 64, but I passed on it. And then it did give a nice unwind over here. And that's it. There was a lot going on. Let's see. I think Tesla was in play. Huge range, big day, but huge topping tail after it went through 50, went to 55, 355 that is. Big volume, over 20 million shares. And pulled back strong when they said they're cutting 9% of the workforce. And then Home Depot said that they're not, it doesn't look like Tesla is going to re-sign with selling some of their solar products. So it was a pretty big unwind. I took a stab on the long side a couple of times, lost there, lost here, made a little bit here, but this ended up being a loser as well. So two losers, NTNX, Tesla, but GLMD was a fantastic trade. Not Facebook, AMD was great, Square and Snap, a few good ones, and then in the swing, Axon had a nice unwind. That was a good starter in swing. What else? Gurn, pull back. A lot going on, lots of action, lots of two-way action, and that's it. Just I got to say, I've been expanding my time frame a little bit, less on the 1 minute, less on the scalping, just focusing more on patterns, on larger time frames, and I feel like more free, being able to analyze, being able to anticipate, as opposed to just constantly doing a lot of scalping. And it's starting to translate into better P&L. And I think that's the theme that I've been seeing over the last year or so with my trading, more so lately. And I'm going to just try to see if I can leverage that a little bit more and see if it keeps on working. But a little bit less on level 2 and scalping for smaller rips, and more on bigger patterns and swing and day holders, and that's been working quite a bit. So that's my takeaway for today. Hope everyone had a great day, and lots of action. Thank you guys for watching. Mike Katz, 7 Points Capital, with today's trader takeaways.